watching Ja Morant, what he's been doing the last especially the last 10, 20 games, man, incredible. They beat the Lakers this week. I think was it yesterday or the day before that? They beat the Warriors last night. Beat the Lakers on Sunday night, I believe. So they're racking up some really big wins. They beat Brooklyn last week. The Grizzlies. We spoke last Chris on the show about the Grizzlies and the ceiling and all that. We're not now a week later. They've now racked up wins against the Nets, the Lakers, they're struggling still, but it's still Lakers and LeBron, and then the Warriors, the best record in basketball. And it got me thinking about the MVP because I haven't really had a discussion about MVPs with anybody about this topic and since the season started. I mean, it's been Steph Curry with a bullet pretty much, but other guys we consider especially too. But Ja Morant's got to be in the conversation, right?
I mean, he's getting himself there. It's easy for a guy who makes a ton of spectacular highlights, and finally he's getting his due because he's on all these highlight reels. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's just climbing into the discussion. He's still far from consideration.
He's not, so you're saying he's not in the conversation just yet? You got to see more.
It's when you start putting the numbers together and you see how much time he's missed. Granted, against like the top guys, he's only like 4 or 5 games behind them in games played, but it does matter. I mean,
I'm gonna here's his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's his last 10 games actually here. 18 points, 33 points, 41 points, 30 points, 36 points, 26 points, 22 points. He missed the Clippers game on the 8th of January. 16 points against the Lakers, and 29 points.
Ernest, here's all you need to know about his MVP candidacy.
Okay, go ahead.
Look at the time he missed, and you look at the record they had.
He missed 3 weeks, right?
He was out.
He missed 3 weeks, right?
He missed just about a full month.
Okay. Yeah.
So he missed 12 games, and he went 10-2. And you could make it even sexier and go, at one point, he was 10-1 without him. You cannot have an MVP on a team that goes 10-1 without you.
If you look at the schedule, they played a lot of...
It doesn't matter. The Lakers can't even beat a good team. So when we're talking schedule, no.
So we're acknowledging Memphis is a good team now. We're acknowledging that they're one of a good team.
Yes, they got built from every position.
They beat a Sacramento team who's that bad. They beat the Thunder by 73 without him. Obviously, that's a fluke. I mean, just by the amount of points they scored on them. They beat a Philly team with no Embiid. I mean, all those wins have asterisks on them. So it's not like they're going out tearing teams up without him. They played their weakest part of the schedule without him and were able to survive.
But that's what I'm saying now. But I see your argument, Zach. Both of you guys, saying he's not quite there yet. And I'm with you. I get that. That's not to agree with you 100%. But what's changed? For me, what got me thinking about this is like, okay, now they're beating the 110 in a row, number one. But it's not just like they're beating the 110 in a row. They're beating the best of the best in the league. They're beating Nets. They're beating the Lakers are Lakers, but it's still Lakers. They're beating the Warriors. They beat the Suns. They're beating the best teams in basketball. The streak.
And he's coming up clutch in all those games.
Yeah. And he's been the reason they won these games too.
All right, and that'll get him in the conversation, but it does not put him in top 3.
Okay, so he's not top 3. Top 5?
Yeah, top 5.
He's on the cusp of 5. Yeah.
No, he's solid 5. Solid 5 on my list.
Okay, in that case, then, since you guys have determined there's probably 3 or 4 guys that should be ahead of him, obviously we're not going to argue Steph Curry number 1, right?
No.
That's a run.
I think Jokic is right there.
The problem.
I think Durant 2, Jokic 3. Durant struggled so hard,
that's the argument you can make.
Much early in the season.
Yeah, that's the argument. No Kyrie. Harden hasn't been Harden this year. That's the argument. But Brooklyn does feel underwhelming. They do a little bit. And again,
lot of bad losses that you can't explain.
Right. Jokic, I agree. He's not getting enough love. I'm with you on that one. The problem is the 2019.
They have
Have
no.
you seen that roster?
No, I get it, but again, there's a rule I've had for years, Zach. You know this too, Chris. I think you know those rules too. You got to win at least. Okay, so I brought the bar down a little lower in recent years, but for a long time, my rule was you had to win your team had to win 50 games or more to be seriously considered an MVP. Now, I put the bar down a little lower to 47, 47 wins. Because one of the things I was saying about Kobe back in 06 is that the reason I said Kobe should not have won in 06 is because of the fact that Lakers team won 45 games.
The point is, he's carrying a team without the number 2 and number 3 guys. He's having a better season this year than he had last year when he won. It's one of those things like when Steph won and then came back and had a better year, you had to give it to him again.
Right.
When Giannis won, then he had a better year the next year, you had to give it to him again. This guy with less talent is putting up better numbers this year and putting up just the stats are unreal for him carrying a team. Granted, the West isn't as deep as it once was, but he's getting them in the playoff push with absolutely nobody there.
No, I'm with you. Look. No, I acknowledge that Jokic is having a better year than last year. But what's going to hurt him is going to be the win-loss record, because that is one of the things that the voters look at. Okay, how good was your team?
Numbers never lie. If he gets them into the playoffs, that's a big deal.
So
Jokic, if it's not in the play-in, like it right now, what are they? If you could get a top 4 seed,
number 6 right now.
Okay, they move up to 4. But by the time the playoffs roll around, you have to give him massive credit for what he's done.
But that's the thing. That's where Ja's number 4 right now.
I think as long as they hover in that 5-6 range, I think you have to lean towards him right now.
But that's the thing, though. You're saying that, but Ja is actually number 4 in the West right now. And dude, he's only, for all the talk about the Suns and the Warriors being great this year and obviously been fantastic.
Ernest,
they're only half games behind the fucking Suns right now.
Ernest, how many games did they win without Ja? Versus how many games can Denver win without him?
I'm not suggesting that Jokic is not in the conversation. Don't get me wrong here. Jokic is having a better year than he had last year. But again, voters are going to look at that record first and foremost.
I think voters are going to remember that Ja missed 10 of those wins in that record. When you look at that win-loss column, he doesn't even account for 10 of those wins.
Okay.
I think in a lot of sports, especially in baseball, you've seen voters now geared towards the numbers than you do anything else. I mean, when you saw guys like Felix Hernandez win the pitching triple crown with a 13-12 record, you're not going to take that into account because the man just destroyed the entire league. It's not his fault his team let him down. Same thing with your boy in the Mets, Jacob deGrom. No matter how bad his win-loss record was, when you put up the stats, it's gonna show.
That dynamic of baseball and basketball is a little bit different, though. You don't impact. The impact is a little bit different.
Both these sports are all about numbers.
All
about points scored.
But the win-loss total in basketball weighs heavier in that MVP race versus like the Cy Young Award winner. Win-loss. The ERA.
He's still getting them to a above 500 record, and that's good enough.
Right. Right. Okay. Go ahead.
That's under 500.
Right.
He's putting him into the playoff race by himself. That's good enough to be ahead in the conversation. When you look at the top statistical advanced stats, he is number 1 in player efficiency rating.
Right. So you guys say, okay, definitely, we all agree Steph's number 1, run away, right? All three of us agree, Steph?
Yeah.
So number 2 is Jokic?
Jokic is ahead of him.
Wait.
I have Durant at 2 and Jokic 3.
Oh, wait. So Chris, you have Jokic
1, Steph 2, and then maybe Giannis Durant tied there.
What about DeRozan?
Oh, DeRozan certainly needs some serious credit.
I mean, they're number one in the East right now. Halfway through the year.
And he's actually played every game, almost every game this season.
The team success is going to boost him up, but that doesn't mean the whole team is playing very good, and everyone is just playing better. So
I don't disagree that Durant, should be getting some love, but I don't feel the impact with Durant. I just don't feel it. And I get, Harden's been again meh, no Kyrie, but Durant has not stood out in the same way. Like even LeBron, the last 10 years, stood out more than the Durant has.
He's playing a ton. Like
I don't know, man. 30 points a game, almost 10 rebounds a game, six assists. He's shooting over 50%, over 45 from three, I think. Oof. He's been outstanding.
I guess also the same thing I was saying with Jokic and Ja, the win-loss thing. Like Brooklyn's is number 2 in the East, but it doesn't feel like they're like world beaters.
Yeah, but he's Harden adjusting to today's NBA. No Kyrie, and he's still putting them up top. I mean, you can't deny his impact.
I am shocked though you're putting him Jokic and Steph though. Although I will say Steph has had some rough games last couple of weeks. Like like for every great game he has, he'll have another like kind of like 2 for 15 night, that kind of thing from 3. Yeah,
but when he struggles, they lose. So
to the value again, yeah.
I mean, still number 1 in like plus minus. Like he's unreal. So he's number 2 for me, but we'll see.